We've built e-commerce SEO content for brands across dozens of categories, and the process that actually gets pages appearing in Google and AI-driven search is the same every time. So in today's video, I'm going to reveal exactly what that process looks like. We'll cover how to analyze Google's results so you know what to create before writing a single word, how to build e-commerce SEO content that pulls buying traffic to your category and product pages, and how to use internal linking so every new page you publish gains traction faster than the last. Let's dive in. Read the SERP before you write. So before you write any content, read what Google is already ranking for that keyword, because Google is already showing you exactly what it wants to reward for that search. You just have to look at it. The SERP tells you the content format, the depth and the intent you need to match before you write anything. The first thing to check is the content format. Look at what types of pages are ranking on page 1. Are they category pages or product pages or informational blog content? If Google is rewarding category pages for keyword, that's the format you need to produce, because a blog post targeting the same keyword isn't going to compete. Now, I'm gonna walk you through a specific keyword that we've recently worked on for one of our e-commerce clients, and I'm gonna talk you through page 1 and show you the different formats and what's winning with its category pages, product pages, or blog content, and what we did to ensure that this client gained that traffic and was able to increase sales. So the client I want to run through is the brick tile company, and we help them increase first-time buyers by 38% following an SEO audit. And I'm just going to show you one of their key search queries. So I'm going to search for brick cladding. And as you can see, there's a number of different results that come on page 1. Of course, a lot of ads from Google Shopping, some potential ads or free listings, potentially over here. There we are, ranking number 1. Now, previous to this, they actually had a blog post about this specific topic, and it was at the bottom of page 1, maybe at the top of page 2. So they weren't really gaining that much traffic. But as you can see, there's a number of different websites appearing for the same term, all commercial pages. And then you've got a guide there from YouTube, a lot of video content. Video is actually quite key for this particular brand. So I'll show you through to the page, and we optimize it for the primary keyword we wanted to target, as well as any secondary terms that we wanted to go after. So brick cladding is the primary term that's searched in Google search, and we've got the other terms there. As you can see, in terms of the hierarchy, we ensured that we had several additional terms that we wanted to link to the specific category page, all the different relevant products. You got the product description at the top, and we've got some nice visual information here. Now, this is just a video kind of run through of the different examples to give inspiration to users. There's no actual voice, but it's just a nice visual, and you can see the before and after for a specific client. And then you've got some FAQs at the bottom. So this is a really well optimized category page. And what really helps is the client has got a beautiful product compared to their competitors, which certainly makes our job a lot easier. The second thing to look for is content depth. Look at how detailed the pages ranking on page 1 actually are, like how much descriptive text they include and how thoroughly they cover the topic. That depth is the benchmark Google's already set for what a satisfying answer to that search looks like. A thin page targeting a keyword where everything on page 1 is detailed and comprehensive isn't going to break into those results. The third signal is search intent. Pay attention to whether the searches for that keyword are coming from buyers who are still researching or buyers who are ready to buy. A keyword like best road bikes for beginners signals someone still deciding, so they need comparison content. A keyword like buy Trek FX3 disc, for example, signals someone ready to buy, so they need a product page. Matching your content to that intent is what gets it in front of the right person at the right stage of their search. Once you've done this analysis, you know what you're building before you write anything. So now you know the format, the depth, and the intent you're writing for. That's the difference between producing content that has a realistic shot at ranking and content that just gets added to the catalog. And the results when this content stack comes together are significant. One of our e-commerce clients saw a 60% increase in organic transactions within 2 months after getting their category pages, product descriptions, and informational content working properly. Then another D2C brand saw a 38% increase in first-time buyers following an SEO audit and a content overhaul. And unlike paid ads, the organic traffic from this kind of content doesn't just stop the day you cut spend. Now, real quick, if you want us to go through your e-commerce content and identify where you're closest to ranking on page 1, book a call with us by clicking the first link in the description. Now back to the video. Build content that earns rankings. Once you know what the SERP is rewarding, the next step is producing the content. And there are a few principles that separate what earns rankings from what doesn't. First, start with your category pages. Category pages are some of the highest value pages on an e-commerce site for SEO and the ones that tend to get the least attention. Descriptions either get left blank or get reduced to a single line. But what Google wants to see is descriptive text that contextualizes the range, uses natural keyword language, and helps the user understand what they're looking at. That doesn't mean cramming paragraphs with keywords. It just means content that's genuinely useful and earns its place on the page. Now, going back to that example earlier, I'm going to show you an example of a category page where the content is pretty thin and it's not really helping this brand appear for this key commercial term. So going back to the example, brick cladding is one of the queries where we're able to get our client ranking #1 for the specific term, and it does really well for them in terms of commercial results. Now, as we scroll to the bottom of page 1, as I said, there's other formats of content, video, etc. Now we've got a key competitor that's actually a much larger brand. So the brand that we work with is more of a much smaller operation compared to Travis Perkins. Travis Perkins, if you don't know about them, they are a national retailer. They've got several branches across the UK. So they're a big player in the market. But when you look at their specific page that talks about the same kind of product, they don't really have a description at all. They've got some random text here that looks to be a bit more brand-led, talking about Weber wall brick, saying it's a brick cladding system, etc, etc, etc. But as you can see, it's just standard e-com kind of template. There's no rich information about the specific product in question. And as you go back a step, they actually have more rich information rather on this specific page. So it looks like what they may have done is duplicated their efforts. So if I was advising Travis Perkins, I would say to them, I think you're cannibalizing yourself. You've got the same kind of content on 2 separate pages. I would combine both of these pages together and leverage the good things you've done on the one page and ensure that you've got that rich information on the other page as well. So I think that's where they've missed a trick. And then going back to our client and what they've done really well, nice rich description. Doesn't need to be a long description at the top. And then their products, of course, it's an e-commerce site, so straight into the products, and then some visual information to help somebody make a purchasing decision. I love this comparison tool where you can see the before and after. Anything in home improvements, this is a very high visual kind of product. So anything like this to help the buyer see what their potential house could look like after using the product is going to be very useful. Additional collections, frequently asked questions around cost, where somebody could go wrong installing this solution, and then links to even further inspiration. So this is the difference between something that's going to help a user and also help search engines, help Google, help AI platforms understand your content a lot better at the category level. And I showed you 2 examples there, one really well-known brand and how we're actually able to compete and beat that really well-known brand in terms of organic search just by using simple principles and fundamentals. Then product descriptions need to be unique and written for the buyer. Identical content across dozens or hundreds of pages creates a specific problem on large e-commerce catalogs, and Google doesn't reward duplication. The fix is unique descriptions that include what buyers actually need. Things like specific features, use cases, materials, compatibility, and anything that separates this product from similar ones. Think about what a customer would need to know to feel confident choosing a specific product. That's the question a good description answers. Now, when it comes to blog posts, buying guides, and how-to content, they have a different purpose than your commercial pages. This type of content captures search demand from people who haven't committed yet, since they're still comparing options before they buy. A guide on how to choose the right mountain bike for beginners brings in relevant traffic at the research stage and builds familiarity with the brand before any purchase decision. From there, that content passes the reader through to your category pages when they're ready to buy. A buyer who found you through an informational guide already has some trust built up before they land on your commercial page, which is a different type of visitor to someone who arrives cold from a direct product search. One of the key questions that we always get from our clients is how we can better support support them to write content at scale. Now we know written content is becoming a lot easier to write using AI as an assistant, and how we help clients is a workflow that one of our team members, SERP, has actually designed and created to help clients get content to 80% ready for them to come in with the human review, the additional information, the really experience-led additional product-specific, comparisons or recommendations that can help bring that content up to good level in terms of Google, use natural language, etc., as well as being in line with their brand voice. So I'm going to run through kind of what that looks like. So this is the platform that we use. It's called Moonlit. It's one of these newer platforms. It's essentially an AirOps, but a bit more affordable. And as you can see, there's different steps where we essentially look at what the target keyword might be. You can actually add the sitemap for the site that you want to use, so you can help with the internal linking process, and you can put some competitor links, and it would then look at the SERPs, the search engine result pages, and also look at the autocomplete keywords that come up for that specific search, the related keywords, people also ask section, etc. And what it would do then is scrape all that information, and it would then build out a brief. And from that brief, it would then produce the final content. So we've actually started testing this with our clients, and it's producing some really strong results. So some of the examples that I've shared within this video are actually using this tool, of course, working hand in hand with the client to produce that really well thought out, human-led content using AI as an assistant rather than a replacement. So how this workflow really works to avoid generic AI content is that instead of using a single prompt with no data and context, we look at what's already ranking, pull in those results, competitive pages, common questions, and then we figure out what matters, identify the important keywords and topics people actually search for, analyze those top 10 competitors, see what top pages include and what they miss. We then build a brief, structure that content outline with clear instructions, draft the article, generate that content that matches the search intent and how your brand sounds using initial inputs such as brand guidelines, tone of voice, documents. Then it optimizes it, adds relevant keywords, internal links and improvements, and we can also add further layer of personalization if needed based on the feedback from the client. So I just wanted to kind of show you that in terms of what we're working on currently at GrowthHack, and it's a bit of a bit of research and development that we're continuing to work on ourselves. Use internal linking to amplify everything. Once your content is live, how it connects to the rest of the site determines how much of its authority actually reaches each page. Google follows internal links to discover pages and understand their place in the site structure. A well-written category page with no internal links pointing to it is harder for Google to prioritize because there are no signals confirming it matters. The basic internal linking flow for e-commerce runs from informational content down to commercial pages, blog posts and guides to link through to the relevant category pages using descriptive anchor text. A guide on choosing a winter jacket links to your winter jacket category page with anchor text that names the target keyword, something like women's winter jackets or insulated winter coats. That link tells Google this informational page considers the category page the most relevant destination for that topic. The more relevant signals like that pointing to a category page, the stronger the page becomes in Google's eyes. Category pages should then link down to individual products. That full chain from blog content to category to products builds a hierarchy that Google can follow. It means authority generated from informational content flows through to the pages that actually convert rather than staying isolated at the top of the site. The anchor text you use for those links is the actual signal. Generic anchor text like click here or read more wastes that link entirely. So use anchor text that names the target keyword for the destination page. For example, your women's running shoes category should be linked from descriptive text that includes that phrase, not something generic. That's the version that reinforces what you want each page to rank for, and it's a signal you want applied consistently across the whole site. Now, I'm going to use another client example to show you what good internal linking looks like when trying to optimize your blog pages. So I'm just going to run through one of our clients, and the client is called Manage Your Home. We recently helped them increase their organic sales 90 days since launching their new Shopify Plus website by 320%. So this is what the website looks like, and to navigate to their blog content, they have a beautiful advice hub, and one of the key product related information and content that we're creating is product guides. Product guides are very useful for the user to help them make a purchasing decision. So I'll run you through one of their really popular products, which are rollators and walkers. This is a key product in which we are trying to gain more visibility for. It's very, very competitive. So what we've done is produce a guide, really well written, in-depth information written by somebody within marketing, Tom, as well as being reviewed by somebody within the clinical team. So we've got the trust signals there in terms of expertise, experience, authority, and trustworthiness, those AT signals that we're trying to get. And we've got an internal link straight to the commercial page. So that links directly to this specific page here with all the products. Ideally, within blog content, a good rule of thumb is to try and have that natural internal link within the first line, or I'll say the first paragraph of the content, because people can easily see what you're talking about and how it links to your products. And also this is really good for AI platforms because, as we know, they sometimes don't read the entire page. They may just look at, the first few lines, etc. So in terms of a passing perspective, when it comes to content, you'd ideally want that internal link as early as possible. Additionally, you'd also want internal links to other specific categories that may relate to the core categories. So we've got the main category there, and we've got some subcategories as well that we've linked through naturally, as well as products, specific products that we want to push through in terms of purchases. We've got another product there, another product there. So it looks quite natural. It's not too heavy. We're not trying to sell. We're really trying to educate people around the product, its uses, what to look for, etc. And there you can see this is a HCPC registered OT, which is an occupational therapist. So yeah, we've really tried to touch on all those different signals and make the guide as easy as possible for people to go through and linking to those commercial pages, as I said. So when somebody is searching for, let's say, buy rollators, something like that. Okay, several sites appear, and here we have a page from our client that is referenced. So that's quite a good sign. We're doing the right thing in terms of the content production. So yeah, so that's just a quick run through of how you should use internal linking in terms of your content and the specific type of content that you'd want to produce as well. New pages also need internal links from day one. When fresh content goes live with no internal links pointing to it, Google has fewer signals about whether it fits and how much weight to give it. The fix is to link those pages from existing relevant content as soon as they go live. This could be blog posts, category pages, or any established page that relates to the topic. That initial linking is what gives new content its first meaningful signal and gets it properly into the index. Now, if you want our team to go through your current e-commerce content and show you specifically what to produce next to start ranking, book a call with us using the first link in the description. We'll look at what you're currently ranking for, where you're closest to page 1, and what the content and linking setup needs to look like to get there. Again, click the first link in the description to book your call. And if you want to learn specifically how AI SEO is changing e-commerce and what you can do to adapt, then check out this video next.